attachment, but actually it's just now.
Yeah, this is difficult because it takes a long time, takes a lot of patience, it takes a lot of understanding to have more equanimity. So and have more equanimity to what is called the news. So most of the time I can listen, but then if I feel myself, if I feel anger arising, of course I say there's anger arising, I just switch it off because it's no use. But there is, and depending on conditions, the thought will arise. Okay, this is merely a panyati, a concept, and there's nothing there. It is just seeing and hearing that's arising at different moments, and but still, it has to be patience to develop the equanimity and have less attachment to the stuff that comes through one's hearing, the hearing and the seeing.
And if one tries to have equanimity, then it's wrong practice.
No, it cannot be tried. It depends on conditions.
Yeah. So whatever is conditioned now, anger or equanimity or just different dhammas, not self. So it's not a matter of trying to have equanimity or trying not to have anger, but just understanding what appears.
And we
can't be any other way.
Yeah.
Just different dhammas.
There's no trying.
Like we hear Dhamma that, okay, it is seeing, hearing and all that, but it also seems like we applied, like trying and saying that, oh, it's just hearing and all that, but that's actually story taking, able to understand, able to do that is wrong view again. It's have to come to understanding. We may use, I'm lost somewhere there, let's come to back here, seeing, hearing and all that. That is not panya.
Haji, let's put it this way. When you are listening to the Dhamma, you are listening to concept, you are listening, you're hearing meanings of words and you're putting them together and putting a meaning to it, okay? So you're doing that, okay? You're listening to concepts, all right? But we couldn't study Dhamma if we didn't listen to concepts. We couldn't have this conversation if we didn't have meaning to the words that we're hearing. But the words that we're hearing, if the conditions are right, should spark some awareness of the realities that are arising now, so that there can be more further conditions for further moments of awareness and so forth. Okay, so it's not a matter of getting rid of the concepts or trying not to see the concept or hear the concept, because we have to live with them in order to have this broadcast, whatever you call this, the Zoom cast. It's concepts. We're listening to concepts, and we're looking at concepts. Okay, I see you in the screen. I see you in the screen. Okay, that's a concept, and but still, among those moments, because we are listening to the Dhamma, there can be, and considering the Dhamma, thinking deeply about it, there can be these moments when we are aware of what the reality has just arisen and fallen away and so forth. Okay, but it takes time and patience.
Yes, but what I mean, like, we hear Dhamma and as if we're coming to right path and all that, but that is wrong path. Always come into path, right? We think that we already understand Dhamma. Okay, let's come back to hearing and all that. But actually, mostly without understanding, it's all ignorance, and we take it as if like we're slowly understanding, which is not something.
Oh, sure. You're not going to have understanding 100 minutes of, every minute of an hour. It's going to come every once in a while, who knows, maybe once in 10 days. And then if there's more understanding arising, there are conditions for more understanding, maybe more often it will arise, whatever. But I think the the more that we listen and consider, and the more understanding that does grow, there will be more moments of this awareness of the reality, whatever is arising, it has arisen at that particular moment, or just a moment before. So just accept that.
Hi, Betty. You were saying that there is no need to reject the
I beg
paññatti,
your
the
pardon,
concept.
I can't hear you.
You were saying that there is no need to reject the concept, the situation, because we live in
Yeah,
the
what
world
I
of
mean is,
concept.
we're not rejecting the concept, because it's accepting it, because it's what you close your eyes for a second and you open them, it's concept. Okay, I see you on the screen, Alberto, and it's concept, but yet we live in this world of concept, and we have to accept it. The Buddha could not talk, could not teach, if there were no concepts. He could not recognize his students. He could not recognize Sariputta. He couldn't recognize Mohayyana. How could he explain the Dhamma to anybody if everybody said, "Oh, I reject concepts"? This is you can't. It's not a rejection of concepts. It's developing less attachment to the concept. Okay?
Yes, and also concept cannot be understood because they are not real. So we don't have to
That's
try
right,
to
they're not real.
understand them. We don't have to try to understand the situation because it's not.
That's right. But again, is it you trying to understand? That's another aspect. There's no you to try to understand. There's only conditions that when there's more listening and more thinking, deep thinking about it, then there will be more moments of understanding what is happening at any particular moment. That's all. But everybody has concepts. I mean, even the Buddha had to live with concept. If he closed his eyes and opened his eyes, he'd see concepts, but he understood what the concept was, and he wasn't. He was detached from it. And what I was mentioning before as an example, when people watch the news and it's kind of programmed through these algorithms, and watch what do you call it, YouTube, and so forth, population, because people get totally angry. Of course, this is the story, but that's what's happening.
Yeah, so we don't reject the concept because we need them in everyday life, but we don't. We also tend to reject the reality. For instance, you were saying the example of when angry, we try to avoid it, or we try to avoid the situation, like the concept, and we don't see the reality of anger as a reality, as not a situation, not people, not things, but something which we don't have to. We have to understand and not reject, as Ajahn was just saying at the beginning, and that's and that's the way to follow, to lessen the anger itself, because the only way to decrease all the kilesa is by understanding them as not self, and so it's not.
My internet is dropping off today. It's not cooperating. Condition.
Alberto, you said this is the way to lessen anger. That is to have more awareness of the reality. But I'm not sure that there is an aim that the lessening of anger is not actually the main purpose, the development of understanding, because it's the understanding of realities that is important, seeing them as they truly are. And it's incidental to that, that the long-term effect is the is the lessening of akusala and the development of more kusala. But that, as I say, is incidental to the main purpose of seeing things as they truly are.
John, can you repeat, because my internet is going on and off today. It's not a very good internet reception today. Can you just repeat that again, please?
Well, just in brief, I was just making the point that the purpose of developing understanding is to understand the true nature of present moment realities, not to have more kusala and less akusala, for example, but that is an incidental development that occurs along with the development of actual understanding.
Yeah, as a side effect of understanding, there is, and also it's the only path leading to the purification of the mind. Is the Visuddhimagga as well. So it's the only way to lessen kilesa and all realities until, as Ajahn was reminding us last time, until there are no more conditions for the arising of any conditioned realities. And but
yes,
there
well,
are conditions
at that point, both kusala and akusala are gone beyond, as it were, not just the akusala. So
yeah, but
for the
condition
arahat,
for the
no more kusala either.
Yeah, when there is no more akusala, there is no more kusala either. But there has to be no akusala first for no kusala to be there.
Well, they both happen simultaneously, I think, at Arahata Magga, by virtue of the development of understanding, seeing realities as they truly are.
Yeah, little by little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very little by very little.
So when we're so concerned about others' attachment or others' anger, the reality is the thinking and the clinging and the worrying and the concern now. So it always comes back to this moment. Like Nina was saying at the beginning, we can think about how people are behaving in the news or the other people when they watch it. But what about now? What is reality at this moment when thinking about the others? No understanding at all. So the truth always comes back to this moment and what appears now.
Yeah, looking at the one's own realities arising, because the akusala is in one's own citta, and
always. So the thinking about the others, the akusala is right now in the citta.
Yeah, and that's for anyone, not for me, not for you. I think that's also another let's say it's another way which shows the anattanas of realities, because they are so common to all of us. So it's my akusala, your akusala, and everyone's akusala is everyone's. And
in truth, it doesn't belong to me or you or them or anyone. It's just conditions
right.
a kusala
It's
to
the good news,
rise
I
and gone
suppose.
instantly. So by the time we're thinking about it, it's all long gone, thinking about the dosa of someone who watched TV. But what about now?
Exactly. Is it there? Is it akusala here now? Is it here and now? Is it not here? Is it not now? Akusala?
It has to be here and now. It can't be any other time or any
Yeah.
other way. And if there's
Yeah,
any
for me, for
trying
you,
to, if there's any trying to stop it, this would be the wrong practice that Jyotika and I were
Yeah,
discussing.
and the point
Like
is,
thinking one can stop a kusala by turning the TV on or off. But what about the thinking at this moment?
yeah, what about the understanding of akusala at this moment?
Well, it
Because it's
doesn't
there for
always,
sure.
it doesn't always appear though. So there can only be understanding of the reality that appears to awareness and understanding. And
Yeah.
there's no way of predicting or influencing what that reality will be. So there are many realities appearing now. The kusala and akusala jittas are one part of the many realities that are appearing now, that are arising at the present moment. But it doesn't matter what reality is the object of awareness and understanding, because the knowledge that is developed is cumulative. So and is developed to the stage where, when it's highly developed, it becomes apparent that all realities are the same in the sense of being impermanent and unsatisfactory and not self, whether they're appearing or not.
And as we know, the real cause of the akusala, the attachment or the aversion, is not the TV or social media or modern technology. It's the ignorance at this moment that has been accumulated for so long, the attachment that's been accumulated for so long, just the same as in the Buddha's time, just the same as aeons and aeons ago.
Achan, you want to add something about this topic?
I think that we discuss to understand the truth of that which is now appearing. Otherwise, how can we know what is true and what is not true? For example, no understanding at all of what is there now. See, only seeing and then thinking and then have the idea of something there and think a lot about what is seen and what is not seen. See, many things. No understanding of the moment of what is there as it is. So how can there be the understanding of the truth? Because nothing is as true as this very moment, because it's there appearing. But what is the truth of that which appears? We live in the world of taking that which is not now as is still now, like the idea of self at moment of seeing. But seeing does not last at all. Who knows? Because at moment of hearing, there is no seeing. Is this true? To understand the truth little by little, to let go. Ignorance, not understanding the truth, and attachment to that which is not known, that it's not there anymore, and wrong understanding, taking it for something permanent. That's why listen, considering the words of truth, whether it's true or not, only that, nothing to be done at all. Just there is seeing now, no understanding of seeing. And who understands that? See, the Buddha enlightened the truth of what? Of a moment, no matter it's what, is there, of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. That's why we listen to the words of truth to begin to consider what is true and what is not true. And when it's true, it's right. And when it's not true, it's wrong. It's not just try to find out or to say that this is right and that's wrong. But what is right is the way it is. What is wrong is not the way it is. For example, now, it seems like nothing arises and falls away at all. And what is the truth? Whatever is there has to be a reason already. No one can make that arise at all. No one can make anything to arise because whatever arises is conditioned by its proper condition. For example, there is seeing right now. Who makes it arise? And what is the truth of it? It's that which sees, and what is meant by seeing. That which appears as different colors condition the idea of something by shape and form, by the rapidity of the succession of different colors experienced by just one color at a moment. Only in a moment, there must be only a reality appears. So there must be the reality which experiences that object. Otherwise, that object cannot appear at all. Even it's hard, but if there's no touching, no experiencing of hardness, hardness is not there. So there must be the reality which arises to experience an object. Is that true? Just consider what is there now in a moment, seeing what is it. So there is not always seeing. Seeing does not last at all. Is it known when it arises and falls away? In truth, it arises and falls away quickly, very, very quickly, but it doesn't show up. It doesn't appear as it is. That's why when it's not there, it can be known that it's not there anymore. And when it's there, it has to arise. Otherwise, it cannot be there. So is this true? Before there can be the idea, there must be many moments of experience, very, very minute or so very tiny object which is experienced, no matter what. For example, now one sees a doll or a curtain or a shoe or a pen. How come? Without experiencing one color at a time, and different colors are experienced from moment to moment, condition, shape, and form as nimitta, to be known as it something, banjati, and so on. And is this not the way life is from the first moment of life, on and on and on and on, non-stop, until death? But as this moment has fallen away, the next moment arises. So even after this moment, a reality has to arise by conditions as the birth of this life. The same conditions to condition birth and death and so on. And what is there? Can it be permanent? As we think that it's still there. So thinking, just think about that which is experienced and have so many dreams about it, while it's not there anymore. See, learn to understand life, the truth of life, not just to try to say this is right and this wrong, but what is right, and what is wrong is wrong. That's why without understanding the truth of what is there as it is, there must be wrong understanding. For example, right now, what is seen seems so permanent, but in truth, not permanent at all, and not anything at all. Is that true? So just learn to understand what is true, what is the truth of a moment. To understand a little more and a little more, nothing can be done. That's the way it is. That's why it's Dhamma, the reality, the anatta, anattaness. No one there at all, because nothing is permanent. It's gone, arising and falling away all the time. which one can be taken for I? Each one is gone. Just learn to understand the truth and understand more about the nature of what is there. For example, what is seen cannot experience anything. It's that which is seen, and that which is seen, no shape, no form, only one color at a time. But now so many different colors, so many moments of the arising and falling away of experiencing just one reality at a time. Is it true? Only that? Is it right or is not right? Is it wrong? And what is right? To understand the truth of what is there as Dhamma, a reality. It does not belong to anyone. It cannot be taken for anything because it's not there anymore. Is this true? Can anyone change the way it is? But as it is, there can be the understanding of the truth of it after considering carefully, wisely about it. Just listen and understand the way it is, the truth of each reality, because it appears to be known. But when there is no considering of the truth at all, at that moment when it's there, how can there be the understanding of what as what? Just that which is seen cannot be anything at all. It's only that which is seen. To be so truthful to the truth, that which sees, that is not I or anyone. It's that a reality which arises to see and then gone. No one there at all, nothing at all. Just learn to have confidence of the truth, whether it's true or not. To understand the difference between right understanding of what is there as it is and wrong understanding, not understanding the truth, that is there just very short and gone. And when this is true, can there be a little more understanding of the difference of each one, as it's not just realities arising together? Impossible, because no matter how many conditions to condition whatever arises, but what appears can be just only one at a time. So in truth, no world, no mountain, no sea, no house at all, because sorry, is that true? Who knows that there must be such noise unexpectedly, and not just the sound, whatever is there, unexpected. No one knows what would be the next moment, what would be the object appears, because there is a reality which experiences it. So in truth, there must be a reality which arises by conditions to experience an object through eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind, traveling from moment to moment, morning, night, and again, and again, and again, non-stop, by conditions. Is that true? And when it's true, it is right understanding. Another word, panya, amoha, or vicca, and many degrees of understanding. Because we are talking about that which arises and falls, but it does not appear until there can be the understanding of one reality at a time, to really understand that it cannot be other reality at all, just one by one, only one. different from the others, in samsara, never be the same. Is there I? When there's no understanding of what is there, there can be the idea of I see, I think, I understand, I like, always I. Because no understanding of the truth clear enough. So now, when many objects are there, it cannot appear well because they are together. No understanding of only one reality as it is at a time. Is that true? That's all. Only understanding whether it's true or not. Can it be known one by one, little by little? And when it's true that it is conditioned to arise and fall away, can it be directly experienced? Even if so very rapidly, what can be known is only the nimitta, the sign of that reality. Just understand what is there in life from birth to death. The name of different people, different things, an idea that is still there. Only the idea. And what is the idea? It's not seeing, because seeing just sees. Hearing just hears. So there are so many different realities in life. From moment to moment, on and on and on. As there is no understanding of seeing, because in truth, only 3 moments after seeing, there is attachment, ignorance of seeing. Right now, who understand the nature of seeing? So there must be ignorance of seeing, hearing, and everything, on and on and on and on. After each moment of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking in life. No matter in what world, in what life, there are only 6 ways to experience what is there known as something or as it is. Nobody can answer for the other. It has to be one's own truthfulness. How much understanding of what is there now? Just hearing, only one. While we are talking about it, it's not directly understand it, because there must be the understanding of where is it and what is it. Otherwise, how can anyone find the truth of that which we are talking about as seeing? It's there, see? But there's thinking, hearing, so no understanding of seeing, but takes it for something is seen or I see. Without seeing, can there be I see? The idea of I, when there's no understanding of the truth, that seeing cannot be taken for anything at all. Seeing is seeing, that's the truth. Keep on understanding the truth. No change, it sees. It, not I, it sees. Until it, not I, see. And is this true? Understanding what is right, what is true, and what is not true is right understanding only, which can understand what is right and what is wrong. what is true and what is false. All gone. What is there now is also gone, unknowingly, until we begin to understand it, little by little, not permanent at all. Life is not permanent, and what is there cannot be anyone or anything, but different realities, Dhamma. So the understanding of the truth of Dhamma will let go wrong idea, wrong understanding of that as something permanent as I or thing right now. Just be truthful to the truth. And at that very moment, it let go wrong understanding and ignorance and clinging to it as I, little by little, unknowingly, very slowly, very little at a time. And that is the subtlety of the development of right understanding, which is the fourth Ariya Satya. Not other way at all, because other way cannot understand the truth. Ignorance cannot be understanding different reality. And it's now. That's why hearing more about ignorance, attachment, is the moment of letting go wrong understanding. Is it true? If it's not true, what is true?
Please excuse me, Tanajan. Is it accurate to state that up until the point of Lokutara Chitta arising, it is nimitta, and the reality is not directly experienced, the nimitta of the reality, and that after the Lokutara Chitta has arisen, the Arahat can experience reality directly because it arises, the Dhammas arise and fall away so phenomenally rapidly.
Can just one reality appear?
At this time,
many reality, but what appears is only the sign of seeing. Because now many things are object of seeing, but it is only one at a time, in a moment only. So what is meant by a moment? It cannot be a doll or a shoe or whatever, but there must be a moment of experience in just one color, if we use the term color for that which is seen. At moment of seeing green, it's not moment of seeing pink. But how fast it is, arising and falling away. Instantly, as what is seen is something or many things at once, like at moment of just opens one's eyes. It's there so many things. If it's not seen, can it be there? That's why the absolute truth is hidden, because no thought about it, about the way it is. It's there. From nothing, be something, and then nothing again. So without understanding of each one, each nimitta, how can it be known that it's not there anymore?
And even in the case of the Arahat, even in the case of the Buddha, when the reality of seeing is known, for example, at the moment when Panya arises, there's no seeing. The seeing has gone. It only arose at the moment of experiencing visible object. Only 7 Chaitasikas arose together with it. So it's always the nimitta of the reality that appears. Seeing can only be experienced by way of nimitta. Kindness now can only be experienced by way of, can only be understood by way of nimitta. So it's always the nimitta of the reality that appears. No matter there's a little understanding, no matter it's the understanding that understands clearly at the level of vipassana or the very great understanding, seeing can only appear by way of nimitta.
Yes, I did not state to clarify, I don't know if I was clear, I did not intend to state or to infer that after Lokuttara Citta there is no more nimitta. Nimitta is assistive, just that up until that point it is completely inconceivable that reality, any Dhamma, seeing, hearing, and so forth, can be directly experienced. And I was just asking Tanajan if it is accurate to state thus.
So only Nibbana is the animitta Dhamma that doesn't appear by way of nimitta. But before and after those Lokuttara Cittas that experience Nibbana, it's always the nimitta of reality that appears.
So reality, a Dhamma, can never be, at any point, can ever be directly experienced?
Because what is experienced, for example, even the visible object, it's not one visible object that appears. It's countless visible objects that have arisen and fallen away. And it is the sign of visible object that appears, that is understood. So even when we're talking about the great wisdom of the Buddha, it's still nimitta of reality that appears.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Tanajan.
And I was
excuse me for interrupting, Sukhin, but we're not hearing your audio. Your voice is breaking up a lot. Sorry.
I also just wanted to come back to the points that Jan was mentioning before, because it related to the discussion with Jyotika, who said, no I to go anywhere, no I to do anything, and actually nothing that can be done at all, because in truth, each reality, each seeing, each visible object falls away instantly. So even when there's the idea, I can turn off the TV, but in truth, they're just the moments of seeing and hearing, nothing that can be done at all, because each reality, each moment of anger, each moment of seeing is conditioned the way it is and gone completely. So when we were talking about right and wrong understanding, right and wrong practice, the right understanding is that there is just the Dhamma now that appears, that's conditioned and gone instantly. Nothing that can be done at all.
I was wondering if Kun Sukhinder has anything to say up until the audio was sounding a bit garbled. Are you there?
Same, and when you were trying to speak earlier in the discussion, it was also sounding very garbled, Sukhin, so I don't know if you can change the audio system. Hajit's is very clear, but yours is very difficult to hear. Maybe anyone else, like Mark or Alan or Azita or anyone else would like to bring up any topic or make any comments?
I was wondering about the meter, and I was wondering whether seeing consciousness does experience the object directly, or is there also a meter in between?
Yes. So seeing, when it arises, it experiences visible object, the reality of visible object. But at that moment of seeing, no panya at that moment with seeing, because there are just 7 chaitasikas that arise with seeing. So visible object is experienced directly by seeing. The seeing sees the visible object. But when there is understanding of the seeing has long since fallen away. So it has to be nimitta of seeing, no matter what degree of understanding it is.
Yes.
So actually it is
Thank you.
world of nimitta, yes.
Except for seeing consciousness.
What do you mean, except for seeing consciousness?
Well, seeing consciousness doesn't experience the meter, it experiences the object directly.
Right.
So it's not, for seeing consciousness, it's not the world of the meter, it's the world of that single object.
Right, but we're talking about the understanding, what appears to the understanding. Yes, each reality that experiences visible object in the idle process experiences visible object.
So it seems it's very easy to mistake panya for self.
Very easy to mistake all realities for self.
Yes.
For something.
Yes, but also it seems when I listen, it's so easy when talking about Dhamma that the self comes in. So if I realize that seeing consciousness experience the object directly, it's without self and it's without the meter. I don't know. There's a lot of going on in my mind. It's hard to explain.
It's an illustration of how dhammas are conditioned.
And also, Mark, it's also explaining how and why it must be this way. Because if it wasn't this way, like you probably have heard before, that without reality, there's no nimitta, and without nimitta, no concepts. So if it was only one reality that's experienced, there wouldn't be concepts. So it has to be many, many realities of the same kind. Like, for example, seeing, experiencing visible object, one after the other. Is there possibility of thinking about what's seen?
And
Yes.
that even we were saying that reality known by the sign of reality itself, like when we saying that seeing, knowing, seeing, it's not that one moment of seeing, is like many times, because if single moment only, nothing can appear. That's actually even Dhamma appear the way of their sign according to the Dhamma. Each Dhamma is like, if there would be only one moment of seeing, it's not appeared, it cannot be appeared at all.
Yes, I think it's about, it seems to be about panya, because panya can only arise with kusala citas. and not would be Pakachitas. Is that right?
Yes, we're talking, I think that was what Eve's question was about. So the panya arises with kusala chitas or with kiriya chitas of the arahat.
Arahat, yes.
So panya can arise with vipaka chitas, like the Boanga chitas, but
Oh,
here
right.
we're talking about the panya which experiences the reality appearing now. So seeing, like you say, it experiences visible object, and you can say directly, but it's not understanding anything about visible object. It just sees it. And the other
So-
Chaitasikas arise,
Yes.
just perform their functions.
So what I was trying to say to Eve was this, that when she mentioned that the Arahata directly experiences one reality, what would be more correct is that the Arahata experiences the way we experience, just the understanding is deep enough that even though what's experienced is the nimitta of realities, the understanding is that the reality, the truth is one moment, one reality at a time.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you. I can hear you much better now. You sound much clearer.
So we come back to what appears now. In order to understand that what appears in life, in samsara, no matter in what world, is seeing now appearing, no matter how many moments, but it's seeing. But does Bhavanka, Sampatichana, Santirana appear? That's why, can there be the understanding of that which does not appear? Impossible. That's why no matter in what life, what can appear is only through 6 doorways that performs its function. For example, before seeing, there is seeing right now. And after the moment of seeing, which arises just to see, the next moment cannot see but experience the same object. Can there be the understanding of that which does not appear as seeing, as Sampatichana and Santirana? That's why no matter in what stage of understanding, for example, Nama, Rupa, Parichetayana, can it be a moment of understanding directly, experience Sampatichana and Santirana, or as it does not appear now, so when it is the understanding of that stage, it still understands what which appears now. The difference is that even there is seeing right now, no understanding that it's not me, the moment of seeing it's not I, it's just a reality which can arise to see only that. It cannot do anything at all. But the citta before it and the citta after it doesn't appear. So even at what stage, right understanding understand that which is appearing. And the appearing of seeing is the nimitta of seeing, because it's not the stage that can understand the arising and falling away of the nimitta. Even the arising and falling away is nimitta too. Not just that Sampatichana and Santirana and so on, but it's clear enough to understand the reality which has no shape and form, only experiencing the object and understanding the difference between the object as what is seen and that which experiences, only one at a time, just right now. But the understanding is not clear at all because the reality does not appear as it is, just one reality at a time, one nimitta of one reality, not just one moment of seeing or hearing. But what is that? It's seeing to be known, the nature of it, no shape, no form at all. It just arises and see or hear at different moments by different conditions. So if someone try to catch or try to know the Sampatichana and Santirana, is it possible? By the understanding the processes which has to, after seeing, there cannot be panya right then to understand the seeing, one seeing at all. That's why understanding that even there are so many stories, many news about this and that, but it's only that which appears to thinking only. And seeing what appears is only that which is seen. The Avanga does not appear in between, and the Atma-citta does not appear. What appears in a day in life is seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking. Is that true? Does anyone try to change it? Impossible. Otherwise, there is the idea of self. I can do, I can try. But in truth, as it's no one, it's only different realities, citta and cetasikas and rupa, that's all. And is this the truth now? So what is experienced when it appears well is the same, only that which appears. So begin to consider whether what is now appearing, it does not appear well or it appears well. Even that which is seen or heard or touched. Thinking about this very short moment, so very short. What is taken for hardness when it appears as nimitta of hardness, how little it is. From moment to moment, it begins to appear well because now it does not appear well at all. We think that we have clear sight, but in truth, the object does not appear well because there are many, many things or many, many moments of citta and cetasikas arising together, fall away in split seconds. That's why understanding at moment of understanding the truth of that which appears as no one and nothing. The first vipassana jnana, see, we just talk about nama and rupa, but the characteristic of nama does not appear. And we think about other things like sampatichana and santirana. No matter what, it's just the panyati of the reality which experiences an object. And it arises and falls away so very rapidly, uncountable moments. So what is that? It's only seeing right now and hearing, thinking, just through 6 doorways. Before there can be more letting go of clinging to life. When someone said it's boring, life is tiring, boring, it's I who think, not the understanding of the truth that actually there is no one, only the arising and falling away of different realities, just once in samsara and gone, never to return. So what's the use of nothing as people? But it's only different realities arising and falling. And it has to be daily life to begin to understand it. It's only seeing again and hearing again and thinking again until it says that is it useful? Is it dukkha? To understand the real dukkha is by letting go the idea of self and seeing it's so dangerous for that which is just like breaking world. Whatever arises is the world and it's gone. That's all. Gradually understand the truth, gradually to see the danger of the arising and falling away. But when it's I or something, it's object of clinging, attachment, instantly, not understanding that it's gone forever, never to arise again. So what is there now is not the previous moment appearing. And where's I? As long as I, even the word is so boring, but it's I attached to the idea of I is there. As long as it's taken for I, it's the object of attachment, wanting, clinging, never let go until understanding of the truth, gradually letting go of ignorance and ignorance when right understanding is there and understand what can be experienced as pannati. Seeing right now is the nimitta of seeing. Is it that true? Only nimitta. How many moments of seeing and other reality, the other chittas in between, before and after seeing. And what appears is only seeing. So seeing is the nimitta of the reality which experiences an object.
Ajahn, I appreciate so much this discussion, which about the difference between nama and rupa to make it clearer, to elucidate that, and chitta, which experiences chitta, the facility, this faculty which experiences, and rupa, that which does not experience anything, and without rupa and chitta, how to understand the moment. So I find that this gives rise to wise considering, and there is confidence in the development of panya. It cannot, that it would condition thus. Thank you, Ajahn.
I appreciate your understanding of the subtlety of reality. It's more subtle and more subtle and more subtle. Because now all are object, five khandhas of attachment and ignorance. It's the unknowing as asava, who knows? What about only 3 moments after seeing is there? That's right, it's always there. I'm sitting, I'm eating, I'm breathing, I'm doing all I. Actually, they are different realities arising and falling away. And when it does not appear as one nimitta of one reality, it does not appear well. Begin to understand the way one lives with ignorance in samsara. When what is seen is taken for something like flower, how can it appear well? Impossible. So understand what is meant by appear well, only to right understanding as only one reality, one nimitta of one reality. So the world of truth is not like as we now live with ignorance.
Yes, the uselessness of clinging to a reality which only arises once in samsara, nay, not once in a lifetime, just once in samsara even, arises and falls away, never to return again. So I appreciate it, Tanajan, thank you.
And this is the path, the area, Maka. See, so natural, so true, understanding what is there. Don't think about it, try to know what we take for something very important, but not understand the truth of what is there now. So it cannot let go ignorance of each moment. No matter it's seeing or hearing right now or thinking right now, pleasant feeling right now, only panya of different degrees has its own function. And see, the first vipassana jnana, the object appears well enough, but not as enough as the higher understanding of vipassana jnana. But it cannot be vipassana jnana without the beginning of considering what is there now. And the conditions for Adhidana Barami and Khanti Barami is the truth of this moment. How much understanding of what is there now. So very little is it the direct understanding, even is so little of that which appears, or not directly yet. That's why the development of panya just go against the current of ignorance and attachment. Patiently, gradually, truthfully. When there is the understanding of reality as a self, there can be the understanding what Buddha said in Tipitaka, all about dhammas, all about realities. No matter it's kindness or whatever appears in life or other in the teachings.
Yes, Ajahn, the quality of Kanti you touched on, and Virya, the password I type in every time about how patient and how much effort, so much work for so little, but it is worthwhile.
And that is the moment of letting go, ignorance and attachment, and wrong understanding and wrong path. Gradually, secretly, each moment, conditions for next moment to arise.
Without the right understanding at this moment, there can never be the conditions for the Virya and the Kanti Parami and the Satya Parami and so on. And the wrong effort will be taken for the right effort and so on. So it all comes back to the understanding what appears now, conditioning the other paramis to develop with it and support it, like the patience you mentioned. Nina, you had to leave the discussion early after bringing up your topic, and Ajahn was replying. I don't know if there was anything else in connection with the topic that you wanted to mention or with regard to that discussion.
Yes, when Ajahn explains about seeing, and it seems so clear, but still moments of doubt occur. I think, is it really true? Is it really true? But I think that is because it's not strong enough. It doesn't appear clearly yet, all that is explained, and that we have to consider more again and again. Not enough yet.
And the doubt also, it's just for a moment and then gone, just another conditioned reality. And
Yes.
when there is the moments of wise reflection and understanding that it is just seeing now, which sees, no doubt at all at those moments. So it just has to be the way it is. It can't be any other way. By conditions, dosa arises at any time. Doubt can arise any time. Clinging can arise even right now because they're seeing now, hearing now. So it's not my doubt, not my disturbance. It's just a Dharma arising by conditions and gone.
Yeah.
And we know only.
Yeah. Some moments it's clear, and some moments there is doubt. Is it really true?
You say it has to be like that until the understanding is really firm and really understands what appears so clearly that no doubt at all.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's bound to be like that. So the best thing is just understanding that it's another Dharma, but not my doubt at all, just for a moment and then gone. As
Very
Eve
good.
said, just once in samsara and then gone, not to be, not the object of more clinging. Otherwise, it's a story about my doubt and my problem, thinking
Yeah,
about it
story
instead
about
of
right
just
now. It's always
exactly
a story.
a
Right,
story
yeah.
about me and my doubts,
Yeah,
not just
yeah.
understanding what appears and then gone,
Yeah,
nothing to be done at all.
That's very helpful, yes. Yeah.
And like there are like one video of Achan Suchin said, would you try to not be angry or understand Dhamma? So even if doubt, wrong understand and all that which appear in daily life, not trying to have them, but to understand that all of are just Dhamma, and that's what let go. Right.
the minding about the doubt or the anger when watching TV or anytime, it just shows a very strong clinging to self, not wanting to have such akusala rising, instead of just understanding it has to be like that. And it's just a moment, not belonging to me and gone instantly. So as Jonathan said earlier, the aim is not to stop having doubt or anger, but the aim is to just understand what appears as it is, as
Yes.
Dhamma. Otherwise, there will never be any letting go at all. And the clinging to I will condition the wrong practice, trying not to have it or trying to get rid of it, instead of just understanding what appears now.
Ajahn, may I ask a question about effort? Because Eve mentioned,
Yeah.
I think you said so much effort for so little result. And I've been thinking about the relationship between the idea of not trying to understand and right effort. And Ajahn, I wonder if you can perhaps explain the connection between the guidelines that the teachings give us around right effort, which seem to be, the guidelines about guarding against unwholesome thoughts, abandoning them, developing wholesome and maintaining wholesome thoughts, and particularly in relation to the paramis. How do we reconcile those guidelines with the idea of the danger of continuing to cultivate the idea of someone who does that, who does the abandoning, who does the guarding, etc., but at the same time appreciating the value of those teachings in terms of applying right effort?
Idea of self, apply or understand. What is the nature of effort? Is it real? Is it there? For example, we understand the reality, the Cetasika, which is Viriya, right? By word, Viriya is such and such. But at what moment it's there? At moment of akusala, is there Viriya or effort? Or at moment of kusala, is there Viriya? Or at moment of thinking, is there Viriya? And so on. To understand it more, what is meant by Viriya, very, very little, very, very weak, until it's so strong, sharp enough, because of right understanding, to understand it. Effort for what? To understand the truth, or effort to try to know it, to experience as I know. That's why we have to consider carefully. Viriya is a moment of doing something, see, right? Even moving one's hand, is there Viriya or no Viriya? Just to move. So what about doing something more difficult than that? Not enough just in a day or a month or a year. Viriya is there for that very, very difficult goal to get or to approach. That's why beginning to understand no self. So when it's no self, not self, what is it? It is a reality. That's why Buddha taught about the 52 kinds of Cetasika, mental factor, to understand each one, as it's so very, very difficult to realize the truth that it's there. But in daily life, when one tries to do something, is it not the time to understand the virya? And when it's understanding the nature of what is there, it has to be more virya, to be khanti, to be patient, to understand that which is very difficult or very deep. That's why there are many words for virya, which accompanies many stages of citta, akusala, or akusala of what degree, or with right understanding. That's why now, at this moment, is there virya, thinking about what is meant by each word of truth? Is it virya? And no matter one is sick or unpleasant or difficult situation, right understanding can arise because it has developed to understand that any situation is not self. So even at moment of not get angry at all, to at that very moment, without patience or virya or khanti, can it arise to be as patient, not to do ill deeds, not to have anger, and not to cling. See, it's so nice, so beautiful. As soon as it's heard very beautiful music, it's there already. So even to understand that, does it need virya? It's there without word, but without word, how can there be the understanding of each one, of each reality? That's why there's the word for virya, for khanti, and so on, as parami, arising with right understanding, understanding the way it is as no one at all, but by conditions. So conditions for understanding the truth needs great virya, to not just understand the word, the meaning of it, but to understand the nature of that which is there to be known. No one can change what is there to be different from the way it is. Little by little, the understanding of the teachings of actually they are all different realities, conditioned by different conditions, many conditions, past condition, present condition, and so on. It's virya. To understand it's so difficult to let go of ignorance because it's there years and years ago. Not understanding what? Seeing right now, hearing right now, thinking right now, and doubt right now. See, everything that is not known as it is. It's there and gone. No one can stop. It's falling away or it's arising at all. It is really to understand the truth, to be truthful to the truth. That's why it is parami. Without all these parami, it's impossible to understand seeing as it has been experienced by the enlightened one, the Buddha himself. That what is it? It's just a reality. No shape, no form at all. It's the experience. And when it does not experience the object which appears, but it begin to understand the quality, the reality, which is the experience. It's time to understand that there is a reality which arises and experience. No matter what we call it or use any word, but no one can change the characteristic of that which has no shape and form. So it's different from that which is seen. The seeing arises and experience. And hearing about this only once, twice is not enough. Again and again and again, until it conditioned moment of thinking about it. Hardness is there in a day. Is there conditions to understand it or no attention to it at all? And it's different from moment. It's hard as normal as usual in daily life, but it is object of thought about it, minding it, attend to that characteristic. That it has to be known that no one there, not my hand, not the soap or anything at all. It's just only that. And when there is more hearing, more considering, more understanding, even it's there now, it's not there anymore. There can be a little progress of understanding the truth, little by little. That's why it takes quite a long time to be truthful to the truth of no one there at all. And the understanding of no self will condition the understanding of what is taught in Tipitaka. No matter what is that, it's about reality. No matter it's kindness or what, it's there. In a day, but in a day, when there's no understanding, the idea of self is so strong, it's there. So that's why the intellectual understanding will lead to the moment of not forgetting the truth of that which appears. We don't know when, by conditions. How long? No one knows. By conditions. So whatever appears, even is so strange, so wonderful, very, very different kinds of pleasant feeling, only there. What about the understanding? When there's not enough understanding, it's object of doubt. What is that? That's why right understanding, understand the truth, that right understanding is not sharp enough to understand that it's just a reality. No word to try to put it in word. What is it? Because some people, whatever appears, instantly thinking about the term that is used for what is what in daily life. But when that appears beyond thinking, what the word is used to represent it, because no word to think about, because the reality appears as it is, strong or weak, depending on conditions. Not trying to find out whether it's viriya or whether it's kanti or whether it's what word we have heard. Because the reality, the characteristic of that reality appears, well, little by little. That's why Panya has so many degrees of understanding the truth, more direct. For now, hardness appears, and there can be the moment of thinking about hardness. Is it direct awareness or satipatthana? Impossible when there's no understanding. It's just no understanding of that, even it's there. And when there is the understanding of what has been heard about it, depending on condition, depending on degrees of understanding, how much understanding of that object by conditions. By conditions is that which let go the idea of self, no matter what degrees is there, strong or weak. Even the panya, which is not sharp enough to let go, to really understand that, is just a reality, not me. No matter it's feeling or sanya or sankhara or vijnana, no matter what, depending on right understanding of that degree. No cheat at all. So true. That's why Panya knows how much it has to be developed until the object appears clear. Well, because it's not just right now when all realities appear right, they are together. Whatever is seen now, not only one reality, not only one thing, so many things. How come without a moment, so very rapidly arising and falling away? And this kind of understanding the truth, let go, not I at all, not thinking about waiting for the result to come. No, not at all. All depends on conditions. So life is easy with understanding. No trouble to try to do this and that in order to understand it. It has to be the understanding of the truth of it from the teachings of the Buddha, the enlightenment. And this is the subtle path, very, very subtle. No, who knows that now, even a moment of understanding the truth is the path. There must be some masati arise with panya, no matter of what level, develop little by little, naturally. Not I who try so much to sit, to stand, or to think, or to wait, or to concentrate.
Actually,
So now there is viriya, and there can be khanti, no matter in what situation, at moment of being sick, also pleasant feeling, or any kind of thinking in a day by conditions. Otherwise, how can there be the understanding of the accumulation of what now is conditioned to be this moment?
it seems that understanding in the beginning is quite indirect.
It's direct when there is the understanding of the truth.
Yes, but when the understanding is not strong, the idea of there not being someone who tries or someone who does is not directly understood, but it comes to maybe be indirectly understood by seeing how impossible it is to try. I mean, when we say there's nothing that can be done, that is such a generalization, but in actual fact, when there is this subtle trying, it seems to become clearer that that isn't possible. So
And
it's
that
indirect.
is
That's
only
what I mean by
Panya which can understand that.
Yes.
And that is Sila Pata Pramasa when it goes wrong, trying, even have any will to concentrate or to understand this or that in particular. I think that it's time now. So
Yes,